don't you go ahead and state your platform before we actually begin the Q&A pool?
Good evening, everyone. The idea for living an active and healthy lifestyle has been incorporated in my everyday life as a dance teacher and coach. I have been passionate about dancing and performing for local charity and community events ever since I was in elementary school in Mexico. We are what we put into our community. Now that I'm a coach, I realize more than ever how that lesson will affect my students when they see it in action and in solid examples. An active lifestyle, which includes physical activity, a healthy diet, are crucial towards a successful future. I believe that if young people have a passion, a sense of purpose, and are taught to give back to the community in which they live, then the chances of them staying on a productive path are far greater than those who have no passion or purpose. I heartily support active and healthy lifestyles for children and young adults. It will help guide them to a better productive path and help steer clear of negative influences. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So Diana, here is your question. In some companies, when you turn 18, you are required to spend a year in the military. Do you think this should be enforced in our country?
I believe that joining the military is something that should be optional. People are risking their lives, and that's not lightly taken. They should have the option and the decision to make it on their own, so that they may be able to choose whether to help our country. Thank you. Woo!
There you go, Felicia, sorry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This year I've had the opportunity to work with the Be the Change campaign, which looks to raise bullying awareness amongst students in elementary schools. My job with the campaign is to create activities that allow students to express themselves in a safe and open manner. The stories I have heard have really opened my eyes to the prevalence of bullying in these institutions. Statistics show that 1 out of 7 students in K through 12 suffers from bullying. We must stand together to fight this problem. Teaching people of all demographics how to speak up or be able to express to others when they see that something wrong is happening is crucial. And as Miss Asian Global, I would be sure that we would be able to do this for our schools. And I will be the change that I would like to see. Thank you.
Felicia, thank you very, very much. Please choose your question. Okay. Felicia, should learning foreign languages in school be mandatory since we are citizens of the world?
Yes, I do believe that learning foreign languages in school should be mandatory, as in most high schools I believe it already is, because it allows us to have a better mind on what else is in the world and gives us an opportunity to communicate with more people who are in our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Felicia.
Hi, Jasmine, how you doing? Go ahead, give me the mic.
The generosity of volunteers has fundamentally shaped our society. More than 1.5 million nonprofit organizations and charities directly benefit as a result. With such a significant impact, their efforts are indispensable to our society. Over the past 4 years, my 1,600 hours of community service have challenged me, rewarded me, and opened my eyes, making me the better person I am today. From my volunteer experiences, such as serving the National Park Service, Aquarium of the Bay, and the San Francisco Chinatown Leos Club, I've learned more about myself and those around me. I met new friends, I connected with different communities, and I expanded my worldview. Volunteering unites communities. It unites us, and it inspires us to become involved in achieving our goals. Become a volunteer, and together we can ensure a better future through volunteerism. The movement starts with you.
Go ahead and pick a card. Some cosmetic companies are marketing beauty pageants for girls still in elementary school. Do you think this is a good idea, Jasmine?
Well, Steve, I don't think it is a good idea because we should not teach consumerism at such a young age. Instead, I think we should teach young women and young children to become more involved in education, to focus more on their school and not their looks. Thank you.
Hello, Lizzie.
Good evening, everyone. It is well known that beauty is very important to all women. In my opinion, there are two factors that will determine what the true beauty is. First of all, the appearance is very important because it will be the first impression to people. Meanwhile, pretty is as pretty does. I think the inner beauty is more important. My goal is to help young women who have low self-esteem to build their confidence. I believe that as time goes by, as we get older, the inner beauty will make us look more graceful and beautiful. Thank you.
Please, if we can please get the translator out of here, it'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. So Maisie, if you would like to choose your card, please. Thank you. Okay, Maisie. What is one piece of advice you would give to the next group of Miss Asian Global delegates and why? What is one piece of advice you would give to the next group of Miss Asian Global delegates and why?
你想，如果是下一届是举办那个 Miss Asian America 的话，你会建议是什么给他们呢？
我建议他们的就是比赛的结果是很重要的，但是更重要的是要在这个过程中学到很多的东西。比如说，我结识了很多的朋友，我们在这里面的每一位都非常的优秀。还有，我就是希望，sorry。
So, she said, in a pageant, the experience is really important, but the friendship is more important, and the things that you learn is actually even more valuable.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Thank you, Maisie.
Thank you, Maisie.
Now we have 3 mics.
Cool.
So here we go.
I'll give this to
We'll
you.
give one you guys can probably just straight off it. Perfect. Hi, Emily. How you doing?
Hi, Steve. I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
Great, great.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Emily Tang. So, when I was a little girl, my dad, who was a doctor, would always come home from work and tell me a story about something interesting that happened that day. And one day he comes home and he tells me that he operated on a little girl who was my age, about my height, and looked a lot like me, but she's 3 times my size. And unfortunately, she was one of 30% of the children who suffer from childhood obesity. And unfortunately, she was one of those 70% who suffer from a cardiovascular disease. And unfortunately, she couldn't make it. So that's what really resonated with me, and it made me want to start my platform, Project Fit, which is about fitness, intelligent eating, and teaching others. Because the opposite of being obese isn't being skinny, but it's being healthy. So I just want to leave you with a parting thought. 3 meals a day and 30 minutes of activity can take you a really, really long way. I truly believe that. Thank you.
Wow. If you were given a large amount of money to donate to a charity, what would it be and why?
I've actually thought about this a lot, but I recently wanted to establish my own foundation, which is called Project Fit, which meshes really well with my platform. It's because I want to continue teaching people about how to be fit, about staying active, adopting hobbies such as a dance or a sport, teaching other people about how to eat right. And finally, I really, really want to continue what I did for the past 5 years, going out to my community, to colleges, elementary schools, and charity events, to dance with people and to run with people and to really, really convey that message on staying fit. And that's exactly what I'll do if I become chosen as Miss Asian America. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Hi, Susie.
Suji!
Doing great. Tell us more about your platform.
Imagine, your doctor cannot understand you well, and he believes that... Sorry, may I start again?
Sure, go ahead.
Imagine, your doctor cannot understand you well, and the doctor gives you a misdiagnosis of indigestion, when in fact, you have kidney stones. This is what happened to my closest aunt, who cannot speak English clearly, and she relies on her native language for her support. This made me realize that language barrier is a major hindrance to better outcomes of health. One obstacle is that we can have low quality of care, as well as treatment options that might be doubtful. However, we can change that. If I'm your Miss Asian Global, I will promote English education so that we can ease the interaction between the doctor and the patient. As a united community, I know that we can close the gaps between the language barrier, and I know we can and we will make changes that have a better and healthier society. Thank you.
Whoa!
If you'd like to choose your card, please. Okay. If you could know one thing in the future, what would it be and why? If you could know one thing in the future, what would it be and why?
If I could know one thing in the future, it would be where I would be in maybe 15 years. My dream is to become a dermatologist, and I hope that by 15 years, I'll become a dermatologist. I'll be an active leader in my community, as well as help others believe that their motivation and their inspiration and everything about them is beautiful. Thank you.
Wow! Whoa!
Hi, Bianca.
Hi, how are you?
Great. So let's go ahead and hear your platform.
I'm sure most of you have heard about the Pink Ribbon campaign, but do you know that 1 out of 8 women will develop breast cancer within her lifetime? It is one of the leading causes of death among Asian American women. I was not aware of the seriousness of this disease until it happened to my aunt 2 years ago, and she was at the critical stage 4 when we found out. Her case was a miracle as she survived the breast cancer, though she is still under doctor supervision for more treatment right now. As the next Miss Asian Global, I want to promote the breast cancer awareness. I want to inform more women about the breast cancer prevention by getting a routine checkup, effective treatment, and promoting a healthier lifestyle. We all can reduce the mortality rate of breast cancer. Thank you.
Bianca, would you like to choose your card, please?
Young people are guaranteed free education from kindergarten to 12th grade. Should college be free too?
I believe that education should be our #1 priority list. So yes, college should be free. Thank you.
Thank you, Bianca. Hi, Helen.
Hello.
Having fun?
I'm having the time of my life.
Excellent. So tell us more about your platform.
50 years ago, a young boy and his family were forced out of their home and moved into a Japanese internment camp. Overcoming racism, prejudice, and long odds, this little boy became a United States congressman. The story of the Honorable Mike Honda is an inspirational one, especially to me. Growing up in places like Kentucky, Massachusetts, and Florida, I've had very few Asian American role models in my life. But I want to change that. With my experience in youth development and women's empowerment, I plan to promote Asian Pacific Americans in public office. Asian American representation in Congress pales in comparison to our influence in society, culture, and economics. Together, we can identify and nurture a new generation of leadership with our resources and our time. And as your Miss Asian America, I plan to capitalize on the election year and my position in the nation's capital to change the face and the color of leadership and inspire a new generation of hope.
Okay, Helen. Where does one start to help the homeless? Where does one start to help the homeless?
I believe the way that you deal with this kind of issue is the same way you deal with a lot of issues, which is to start by listening. Listening to the stories about why people are homeless. Because there's a lot of stereotypes about, oh, well, this person didn't work hard enough, but that's not necessarily true. There are many people that are homeless for all kinds of reasons. And when people take the time to go into a shelter and just ask people, how did you get here? What happened? I think they'd be really surprised to hear that there are many reasons why we're homeless. And once we can hear those stories, we can better figure out how we can address them. And I know that listening will be a key piece of being Miss Asian America and Miss Asian Global. So I'm very excited to use that skill.
Thank you. Hi, April.
Hi.
So tell us your platform.
Have you ever been the new kid at school? If you can bear with me for a second and just think back to your childhood, I am sure you can remember the anxiety that you felt at the start of a new school year. Now imagine that you're not only a new student, but a new student with cultural and language barriers. And you get a sense of the struggles that many immigrant children face when they first move to the US. As an immigrant myself, I know that immigrant children often struggle more with cultural barriers and isolation than with language barriers. As Miss Asian Global, I would like to change that for immigrant children by establishing programs at community centers that instill in them the traditional values that made this country so great, such as entrepreneurship and innovation. Together, we need to make this happen because America was built by immigrants and children are our future. Thank you.
Would you rather go to an English-speaking country to visit or a non-English-speaking one, and why?
I would rather go to a non-English speaking one. These days, the world is becoming an ever more globally based society, and I think that all Americans need to open our minds and learn from other cultures. Thank you.
Thank you. Last but not least, Sarah, hi.
Hi.
Feel free to go ahead and give us your platform.
So when you think about North Korea, the first three words that may come to your mind are communism, nuclear missiles, or their former and late leader Kim Jong-il. But have you ever stopped to think about the people? What about the people of North Korea? How they live under oppression, how they live on the brink of starvation every single day, and live under the shadow of fear of being executed for doing anything that might displease their government. This is where LINK steps in. LINK stands for Liberty in North Korea. They're an organization that helps North Korean refugees escape safely and finds them homes elsewhere. I believe that raising awareness for LINK would help the North Korean refugees and give them the opportunity to live the life that they truly deserve. Thank you.
In light of the Aurora, Colorado shootings, should there be stricter gun controls? Why or why not?
I definitely think that there should be a stricter rule on gun control. The Colorado shooting was such an unfortunate incident that I believe could have been prevented by going through security checks or just stronger enforcement of gun control. So I believe that, yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
그것들 참 기특하네.
Well, let's give a round of applause.